Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. She's out and about, but I'm going to talk to you about Hollywood and about course correction and Darwinism. And I think we're getting to the end of the line, right? I know a lot of people would love for the left-wing stupidity to go on forever, but I think these companies can't afford to keep making a lot of the kinds of programs they've been making for the last 8 or 10 years. They have to pivot back to profit. We have a lot of people working in the entertainment industry, and I'm talking video games, and I'm talking Hollywood, and I'm talking even comic books and animation that really aren't bringing it. And so they're using macroeconomic circumstances to purge a lot of projects and people that aren't making a profit. And this kind of dovetails with what we're talking about in regards to The Acolyte with Disney. They took a look at the numbers. They said we spent $180 million on the show, and basically F your feelings. We got to cancel it because it's not getting a return. And we had many years where these companies were taking out loans, they were getting venture capital, and they were able to prop up things that would normally fail, right? Artificially prop them up. But at some point in time, you have to be able to make a profit, and Hollywood is going to learn a very painful lesson. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to take chances anymore. I'm not saying that they're not going to give certain marginalized groups, opportunities, but I think they're going to look at the bottom line first. And if there's any surplus money, then we can greenlight your animated Tumblr fanfic if we're feeling generous. But it's not going to be the primary product that we put out. I don't think we'll ever see another Phase 4 and Phase 5 of the MCU again. I think that Disney learned a very expensive lesson. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying that Secret Wars is going to be any good. I'm still not sold on the idea of Robert Downey Jr. being Dr. Doom. But what I'm saying is they're going to pivot. They have to pivot. They all have to pivot. All these Hollywood studios have to pivot. In fact, this was pretty interesting. I had some people send this link over. I think Vinny. Thank you very much if you're the one that sent this. But Warner Brothers is actually going to open a studio in Nevada to get out of California. So everything is changing, and it's changing so quickly. So let's talk about this. This is kind of end stage Hollywood, the Hollywood reset, the great is that what this is? The Great Reset? Is that thing everybody's talking about? The Great Reset? We're gonna all eat bugs or something now. Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. So we got all kinds of stuff going on here. Every Hollywood studio basically blew themselves up chasing streaming, and now they're selling themselves off. Paramount, apparently they had another bid. This is a guy who used to work for Warner Brothers, I guess. He used to work for music, and apparently he's trying to buy up Paramount now. I don't know. And freaking Chick-fil-A wants to get into the streaming wars too. Like, what the hell is going on here? And I don't think that's going to happen either. I don't think it's gonna work out very well for them. Maybe they just need a tax shelter or something. I don't know. But this article I thought was pretty interesting. What's behind Hollywood's latest wave of layoffs? The business is in reset mode. Yes, Hollywood is getting a great reset, and it's necessary. And some people are going to be pissed off because they're going to be out of work. We're seeing this right now with animation, that they're not approving their deal for the animation union, but I think that animation is going to be pared back significantly, especially animation that's not geared specifically for children, because kids animation generally sells merchandise like a Coco Melon and PJ Masks and Paw Patrol and that kind of stuff. That's what's selling toys. And kids that are preteen or tweens, they're not buying toys like we bought toys, right? In the 80s and 90s, like, you bought toys until you're like 12 or 13 years old. And then you took like a 10-year break, and then you start buying them again in your 20s. So they're not buying this stuff now. So they're making shows for preschoolers, and I know that you've got critically lauded Tumblr fan fictions that are not making any money, and that's what this is all about. That's why Alien Romulus was relatively safe, except for that damn ending. This is why they're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back to the MCU. This is why so many people are getting laid off and so many projects are getting shut down. This is why Hollywood is actually looking to outsource, because they have to make stuff cheaper. Because, frankly, California is very expensive and the unions are very expensive, and they're going to try to save a buck wherever they can, which means AI too, right? So yeah, this is, where is this coming from? This is coming from the LA Times. Last year, Hollywood braved the summer of strikes. This year, a cruel mirror image has appeared, a brutal season of layoffs. If only someone could have predicted that this would happen. Instead, we had some idiotic YouTubers out there, or wannabe YouTubers out there, saying that we were advocating for violence against the people striking. What's that guy's name? Forced adversity or something, oppression in C minor. I don't remember what the fuck that guy's name is. But yeah, there was a video out there. It was like 45 minutes long, saying that we were actually advocating for violence against people striking in California. I'm like, you are smoking copious amounts of meth, my friend. No, we just said this is going to happen. This is exactly what's going to happen. If you're going to cost more and the money's running out, there are going to be fewer of you working, and right now might not be a good time to go on strike. I'm just saying. And here we are. Oh my God, it's as if we are psychic. The entertainment industry is reeling from cuts at Paramount, which last week began a deep cost-cutting effort. They're going to eliminate 2,000 jobs, and we don't even know who's going to own them yet. And if it's not Skydance, it might get worse for them. As part of that effort, they closed down Paramount Television Studios. We talked about that. The workforce reduction is another example of the full-on reset of the film and TV business in the aftermath of the streaming wars. So all the stuff I've been talking about, it's all connected. It's all connected. They blew themselves up trying to compete with Netflix. Netflix, the lead was so great that they would have been better off, in my opinion, just creating content for Netflix. Debt-saddled Warner Brothers recently targeted nearly 1,000 cuts. We're going to get back to them. We're going to talk about how they're moving to Nevada or something. Walt Disney Company's TV division last month shed 140 workers. And yes, notice that they are canceling shows that don't perform, and they're trying to pivot things back to center, back to sanity, because we had a lot of activists that had no concept of money or what the general public wanted, running things for like 8 or 10 years. All these websites are folding. All these shows are getting canceled. You're going to have a whole mess of people that are going to be displaced. And this isn't me like, rubbing my hands together with girlish glee or anything like that, right? This is just me telling you how business works. Basically, we're getting back to business. We're going to go back to how things were in terms of, supply and demand and basic economics. You can't keep dumping money into businesses and into business ventures that don't perform. And it was great when they had all kinds of venture capital, and these companies were willing to spend big on greenlighting shows that maybe made no sense, but they needed content for streaming. And now that gold rush is over, and most of them wound up killing themselves in the process. So stupid. It was like, did you ever see the Monty Python skit with the upper class twit competition? That's what the streaming wars were, right? Go Google that. Go out to YouTube if you haven't seen it. And it's basically a race to the bottom of the barrel. They do a bunch of stupid stuff, and then it winds up with who kills himself last. And that's just basically it. That's what happened. Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery's decisions to write down the value of their cable networks felt like an admission that the TV business had reached a point of no return. TNT, HGTV, MTV, Comedy Central, and Cartoon Network, which we've been telling you, had lost relevance. In fact, they took a $9 billion write-down. Between Paramount and Warner Brothers, $15 billion in value were wiped out in a matter of days. Warner Brothers Discovery said Friday it would shift oversight of its networks to television studio chief Channing Dungey. I guess. It all seemed like the logical result of what Walt Disney Company chief executive Bob Iger foresaw in 2015 when he sent the stocks of media companies, including Disney's, plunging with comments about the challenges ahead for cable. It's not just cable. You blew yourselves up chasing streaming. If you had just created content, good content that audiences wanted to watch, solid meat and potatoes. I mean, you can be artsy fartsy if you've got surplus money, but there's no surplus money now to be artsy fartsy. It's got to be meat and potatoes for now, right? Yeah. So he said that the predictions were coming true. Skydance and Redbird Capital are poised to take over Paramount. Well, we don't know. There's a new challenger. Speculation abounds over when activist investors might set their sights on Warner and its chief executive, David Zaslav. Yeah, he might not be along for this world either. They might want to oust him because the stock value is abysmal. For all the workers in the entertainment industry who've been struggling to find jobs since the hot labor summer and fall concluded, there's been little relief. Yeah, they keep saying survive until 25. I think 25 is going to be worse, guys. I'm going to be honest. And again, I'm not trying to be like that guy, but we did say you're asking for more money when these companies are running out of money. What did you think was going to happen? And it's the same with animation. 1/3 of the members of the Animation Guild are not working, and they're asking for more money. You know what's going to happen? Fine. Fine, we'll just send more stuff overseas. Fine, we'll just do more with AI. Fine, maybe we'll give you more money, but only like 1/10 of you are going to work now. And that's not us wishing physical harm on anyone. Why the hell would I wish physical harm on anyone? I'm just telling you, as a person of a certain age, this is how the world works. And I'm sorry you don't like it. I'm sorry you don't like it. They said green light activity was still down almost 10% compared with the first half of 2023, according to Ampere data. Even more dire are comparisons with the first half of peak TV in 2022. Again, everybody was tripping over themselves trying to get as much streaming content as they could, and it didn't do any good. It really didn't. Like, they all tripped over themselves, tried to get all streaming content, and nobody cared about most of the stuff that they put on the platform. Yeah, they commissioned 1,500 programs in the US and Canada. Taking a more global view, the data also shows that a large portion of the newly commissioned shows and streaming movies are being produced abroad and for less money. There it is, guys. A large portion of newly commissioned shows and streaming movies are being produced abroad and for less money. So let's go over here and let's talk about Warner Brothers pledging $8.5 billion to build a studio in Nevada because it's cheaper. Warner Brothers said on Tuesday it's going to spend at least $8.5 billion to produce movies and TV shows in Las Vegas. This is not a drill. This is coming from Reuters. If the state provides promised tax incentives. Well, there's a lot of extra room in Nevada, right? I mean, it's like Vegas and a whole lot of desert. The media giant is partnering with the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and family-owned real estate firm Bircher Development to lease and operate a production facility that will be known as Warner Brothers Studios Nevada. The facility will be located on a proposed 34-acre campus at the Harry Reid Research and Technology Park in Vegas and will feature full-service film and television studios and other facilities. They're moving out of California because it's too expensive. And they're probably moving out of California so they don't have to deal with the unions. I'm just being honest. Why do we have so many voice actors in Texas? Well, they weren't unionized. A lot of them weren't unionized, for better or for worse. Regardless of how you feel about it, it does cost the company more to work with union talent. They might be sidestepping all that and be like, you know what? We can just do it in Vegas. Yeah, we'll just film shows in Vegas. That's what we're going to do. The new partnership depends on the outcome of a proposal initially introduced by the state senator, Roberta Lang. Financial incentives are attractive to Hollywood studios as they grapple with mounting production costs, further exacerbated by cord-cutting consumers and a slump in ad dollars. Warner Brothers wrote down the value of its TV assets by about $9.1 billion. Yeah, they're going to shut down Cartoon Network. I can almost guarantee it. I mean, they already shut the website down. They shut down the Boomerang app. Hashtag Clownfish was right. Rooster Teeth got shut down. Hashtag Clownfish was right. And we were right about the strikes too. We said you guys will have short-term gains. Some of you will have short-term gains, but they can't pay all of you as much as you want. So there's going to be a lot fewer of you. Again, not me being that guy, just me being around the block a few times. They said that the reasons for the sluggishness are varied. Some observers resign themselves to a more or less permanent market correction compared with boom times of 2 or 3 years ago. Basically, this is the new normal, is what they're saying. This is what Hollywood's going to be, a shell of its former self. Others say studios held back in the first half of the year or moved productions abroad, fearing yet another work stoppage, this time by IATSE or the Teamsters. Maybe, but they need content, right? When will the U.S. entertainment production economy start its comeback for real? The feared crew member strikes, which were never likely, didn't come to pass, so perhaps things will pick up again. There's a reason survive till 25 has for months been the mantra. The phrase echoes a refrain of beleaguered sports teams and people waiting for an $11 billion annual box office. We'll get them next year. Maybe. But one Deadpool and Wolverine is worth like how many other box office failures. So it might be that Hollywood just looks at this and they're like, you know what, let's just measure twice and cut once and make these big tent pole franchises, make them meat and potatoes. And we're not going to do anything crazy because we don't know if we're going to make money back on it or not, right? That's the truth. So I'll talk about this real quick too. Chick-fil-A is going to... I thought this was a joke. I thought it was a joke. Everybody and their brother is starting a streaming service now, Chick-fil-A. After Hollywood blew itself up, freaking Chick-fil-A is going to start a streaming service. Deadline understands that the fast food firm has been working with a number of major production companies, including some of the studios, to create family-friendly shows, particularly in the unscripted space. It's also in talks to license and acquire content. We hear that includes a family-friendly game show from Glassman Media, who does The Wall. I don't know. And Sugar 23, which is behind Netflix's 13 Reasons Why. I don't understand why they would pick that up. Budgets on the unscripted side are believed to be in a range of $400,000 per half hour. Sources told us the idea is to launch later this year, and there's also talk of scripted projects and animation. There you go, Hollywood. There you go. If you're hard up for work, you can go to Chick-fil-A. You probably won't work Sundays. You can go to Chick-fil-A and Chick-fil-A is not going to greenlight another season of Steven Universe. I don't think that's going to happen. So what are they going to do? Like stream this stuff in their restaurants? That's crazy. Oh yeah, they make puzzles and games. I didn't know this. They make puzzles and games under the Penny Cake brand. I have never heard of this. One source told Deadline it was a positive move for the reality TV industry, which has been struggling in recent years. And another source added it was a good opportunity. Comparing it to branded content, Chick-fil-A declined the comment. God, that's crazy. But yeah, everything has changed. They just said end times, anonymous. I guess there'll be no shows on Sunday. Wow. Chicken Sandwich for the Soul Productions. Yeah, they just filed for Chapter 11. People can make snarky comments. This is one of the comments. People can make snarky comments about Chick-fil-A itself, but it's a sad state of the industry when a chicken company is trying to put more people to work than legacy studios and production companies determined to kill an industry that's worked for over a century. That is true. That's wild, man. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Hollywood is never going to be the same. It is never going to be the same. And we're never going to stop hearing about it because we're going to have people 10 years from now that basically got pushed out of the industry by Darwinism, bitching about YouTubers and bitching about podcasters and bitching about Chick-fil-A taking their gerbs. Talk later.